Four teenage girls and their coach vanished into thin air on a lonely mountain road. For 20 years, their families wondered if they had been murdered, kidnapped, or had run away. The truth was hidden at the bottom of a ravine all this time. What would you do if your child went to a school event and never came home? The phone rings at midnight. It's another parent asking if your daughter arrived safely. Your stomach drops, and you call her cell phone again and again, each unanswered ring like a hammer to your heart. This is the nightmare that four families in Ravencrest lived for 2 decades. Empty bedrooms preserved like museums. Birthday candles blown out in tribute, not celebration. Hope dimming with each passing season. Tonight, we uncover how a celebrated coach with a hidden past led 4 talented cheerleaders to their deaths, and why it took 20 years to discover what really happened. The story of the Ravencrest cheerleaders is not just about disappearance, but about secrets buried in plain sight. Was it a tragic accident or something more calculated? The evidence at the bottom of that ravine tells a story no one expected, one that will force us to question everything we thought we knew about that October night in 1995. If you're fascinated by cold cases that were finally solved, hit that subscribe button and join our JPX Storyfile community. The truth deserves witnesses, and some stories need to be told. Ravencrest, Colorado sits nestled between jagged mountain peaks, population 2,113. The kind of town where everyone knows everyone, where the high school is the heart of the community and Friday night games draw crowds that fill the bleachers regardless of the weather. It's a place where tragedy feels impossible until it strikes. October 1995 should have been remembered as the season Ravencrest High School earned recognition beyond county lines. Instead, it became the month that changed the town forever. Let's meet the girls whose futures were suddenly cut short. Veronica Paz, 15, team captain, the daughter of the town's only dentist and a third-grade teacher. Veronica maintained a 4.0 GPA while handling captain duties. Her chemistry teacher once said she had the most organized mind I've ever encountered in a student. Friends described her as meticulous, with an uncanny ability to notice details others missed. Then there were the Morrison twins, Keisha and Kiara, 16. Though identical in appearance with their distinctive copper-colored hair, anyone who knew them understood they were entirely different people. Keisha, older by 7 minutes, specialized in tumbling sequences that made college scouts take notice. Kiara's jumps defied gravity, earning her the nickname Skyrocket from teammates. The twins brought raw athletic power to Ravencrest's routines, transforming basic choreography into spectacular performances. Thea Nguyen, 15, had joined the squad just 4 months earlier. The daughter of Vietnamese immigrants who owned the local pharmacy, Thea brought artistic sensibility to the team. Her suggestions for music and choreography modernized their routines. Quiet but observant, she recorded everything in leather-bound journals her grandfather had gifted her. These wouldn't be discovered until years later, hidden beneath her mattress. The last entries revealing concerns she never voiced aloud. And then there was Coach Webb. At 32, he'd arrived in Ravencrest 2 years prior with impressive credentials. Former professional dancer with the Denver Contemporary Company, experience coaching 3 previous championship teams. His references checked out. His enthusiasm was infectious. Parents initially questioned a male coach for their daughters, but his professional demeanor and rapid results quieted their concerns. Webb transformed a mediocre cheerleading program into regional contenders in just 18 months. His demanding practices pushed the girls beyond what they thought possible. "He made us believe we could do anything," said one former squad member who quit due to the intensity of his training regimen. What no one in Ravencrest knew: Marcus Webb was actually Darius Fleming, wanted for embezzling $47,000 from a booster club in Pennsylvania. The man coaching their daughters was running from his past, creating a new identity with each move across the country. On October 17th, the Ravencrest Raptors placed second in the state championship, their highest achievement ever. Photos captured that moment. 4 ecstatic girls holding a silver trophy, their coach beaming with pride behind them. It should have been their crowning achievement. Instead, it became the last photo ever taken of them alive. October 17th, 1995, 6:30 p.m. The Ravencrest cheerleaders complete their championship routine at Denver Memorial Coliseum. Judges award them second place, unprecedented for a school their size. 8:15 p.m. The team celebrates at Dino's Pizza 2 blocks from the Coliseum. Security cameras capture them laughing, still in uniform, sharing 2 large pepperoni pizzas. Coach Webb appears to take a phone call outside at 8:47 p.m., speaking animatedly for approximately 4 minutes till 9:32 p.m. The group exits Dino's. Webb tells the restaurant owner they're heading straight back to Ravencrest, a 90-minute drive along Highway 285 through winding mountain passes. At exactly 9:45 p.m., a gas station attendant in Lakewood confirms seeing their school van, white with blue Raptor decals, filling up. This becomes the last verified sighting of the group. 4 sets of parents wait in the Ravencrest High parking lot at 12:45 p.m. as no van arrives. Calls to cell phones go straight to voicemail, normal for the mountain route's patchy coverage, which made Principal Hoffman call Highway Patrol after parents reported the team missing. At 1:15 a.m., state police begin checking the route between Denver and Ravencrest. A thunderstorm hampers visibility. October 18th, 7 a.m. A formal missing persons report is filed, and by 1:35 p.m., search and rescue teams deploy along Highway 285. October 19th, 10:17 a.m., a park ranger discovers the abandoned school van at Broken Pine Trailhead, 30 miles from Ravencrest in the opposite direction from Denver. Keys in ignition, but no signs of struggle. Inside the van, a single blue and white pom-pom on the floor. Under the passenger seat, 1 pearl earring identified as belonging to Thea Nguyen, but outside, there was no footprints due to the previous night's heavy rain. The van's position made no sense. It wasn't on the route home. Why would Coach Webb drive in the wrong direction? And where was his personal vehicle? A 1994 Dodge Caravan registered under a name nobody yet knew. Law enforcement found the school van wiped clean of fingerprints, even in places where prints should have been abundant. The methodical removal suggested premeditation rather than panic. For 2 days, search teams combed the dense woods surrounding the trailhead. Dogs lost any scent in the rain-soaked terrain. Helicopters scanned the area, but found nothing. What would you assume happened if a coach disappeared with 4 teenage girls? A coach whose fingerprints had been deliberately removed from a vehicle abandoned in a location that made no logical sense? Comment below with what theory you would have had in 1995 before the truth was finally uncovered. The rumors swirled through Ravencrest like autumn leaves. 3 weeks had passed since Coach Webb and the cheerleading squad vanished without a trace, and the truth was beginning to emerge from shadows. Detective Garcia pinned another document to the investigation board. Webb isn't even his real name. His fingerprints match a Darius Fleming, Chief Winters said, scanning the file. Former financial advisor from Seattle with outstanding warrants in Washington and Oregon. The conference room fell silent as officers studied the mounting evidence. Fleming had worked at 4 different high schools in 3 states over 6 years, always as an athletic coach, always leaving abruptly. Each departure coincided with funding discrepancies. Look at these bank records. Garcia pointed to highlighted transactions. $8,700 withdrawn in cash over 3 days before the disappearance. No activity since. Outside the station, news vans lined the street. The case had captured national attention, with theories ranging from cult activity to human trafficking. The FBI had joined the investigation, bringing resources and experience, but also pressure for results. The public response was overwhelming. Tips flooded in from across the country. Possible sightings, conspiracy theories, psychic visions. Each required investigation. Each drained precious resources. By the 6th week, the frenzy began to subside. The news vans disappeared one by one. The volunteer search parties dwindled, and the case remained active, but moved from front pages to periodic updates. At Ravencrest High, the hallways fell hollow. Students walked past the cheerleaders' lockers, now turned into makeshift memorials. The football team played without sideline support, their games now solemn affairs rather than celebrations. The town council approved funding for counseling services. Churches held prayer vigils. Parents enforced earlier curfews and monitored their children's activities with newfound vigilance. August 23, 2015, the morning broke clear over the mountains west of Ravencrest, the kind of pristine day that drew hikers to the countless trails snaking through Colorado's wilderness. Zoe Winters, granddaughter of the now-retired Chief Winters, was among them. "Come on, Bandit," Zoe called to her border collie who had suddenly veered off Route 67, nose to the ground with ears perked with interest. The dog ignored her commands, diving through a thicket of overgrown brush toward a ravine that dropped sharply from the roadside. Zoe followed reluctantly, pushing through branches that had grown undisturbed for decades. The vegetation was dense here, nature reclaiming what humans had forgotten. 20 feet down the slope, Bandit stopped, barking insistently at something Zoe couldn't yet see. "What is it, boy?" she asked, carefully navigating the steep terrain. The ravine was deeper than it appeared from the road, hidden by years of foliage and debris. As she approached her dog, sunlight glinted off something metallic beneath the tangle of vines and fallen branches. Zoe pushed aside the undergrowth to reveal rusted metal. Her breath caught as she recognized the partial outline of a vehicle, its frame battered and corroded after 2 decades exposed to the elements. "I thought it might be just another abandoned car," Zoe later told investigators, "until I saw the license plate." The plate didn't match the school van that had vanished with Coach Webb and the cheerleaders. This was a different vehicle altogether, a 1992 Ford Explorer registered to someone named Darius Fleming. Emergency response teams arrived within the hour. The recovery operation was painstaking, with forensic technicians documenting every detail before disturbing the scene. By late afternoon, they had made the grim discovery inside the vehicle: 5 sets of human remains. "We need to be absolutely certain before making any announcements," County Medical Examiner Dr. Lillian Foster cautioned as media speculation exploded. "Identification will take time." Dental records provided the first confirmations. The remains belonged to Coach Webb, now known to be Darius Fleming, and 4 of the 5 missing cheerleaders: Jennifer Blackwood, Melissa Chun, Kimberly Rodriguez, and Ashley Thompson. The 5th cheerleader, Rebecca Parks, was not among them. The forensic investigation revealed more details with each passing day. The vehicle had apparently plunged off Route 67, crashing into the ravine before coming to rest in a position invisible from the road above. Over the years, vegetation had completely concealed the wreckage. Weather record from October 15, 1995, the night of the disappearance, showed a severe storm had hit the area with heavy rain and wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. The road, already treacherous with its sharp curves and steep drops, would have been particularly dangerous. Initial evidence suggests this was a tragic accident, Sheriff Ramirez announced at a press conference 1 week after the discovery. The vehicle appears to have hydroplaned during the storm, breaking through the guardrail and falling approximately 70 feet into the ravine. For many in Ravencrest, the news brought a complicated mixture of grief and relief. The mystery that had haunted the community for 2 decades seemed finally resolved. Parents who had never stopped searching now faced the heartbreaking task of planning long-delayed funerals. Memorial services were held at Ravencrest High School, attended by current students alongside alumni who had been classmates of the victims. "At least we know," Jennifer Blackwood's mother told reporters, her face lined with 20 years of waiting. The not knowing was its own kind of torture. Investigators continued processing the scene, cataloging personal effects preserved inside the vehicle. Cheerleading uniforms. A duffel bag containing $8,700 in cash. A map with a route marked to Mexico. Fleming's journal detailing plans to flee after embezzling school funds. The accident theory gained traction. Fleming, hoping to escape mounting legal troubles, had convinced the cheerleaders to accompany him that night under some pretense, only to lose control of his vehicle in the storm. A tragic end to what appeared to be a planned disappearance. Case closed. The official report was nearly complete. But 3 days into the examination of evidence recovered from the scene, a forensic technician made a discovery that sent shockwaves through the investigation team. Under ultraviolet light, they detected residue on what remained of the brake lines. Further testing confirmed what nobody had anticipated. The brake lines had been deliberately cut. This wasn't an accident. Among the recovered items, a leather-bound journal had survived the decades, protected inside a sealed equipment bag. Though water-damaged, forensic document specialists managed to recover significant portions of its contents. It wasn't Coach Webb's journal as initially believed, Detective Marquez explained, carefully turning the preserved pages. It belonged to Jennifer Blackwood. The entries painted a disturbing picture. 3 weeks before the disappearance, the cheerleaders had discovered their coach's dual identity while preparing a surprise birthday video. Melissa had found newspaper clippings about embezzlement charges against Darius Fleming while searching for photos in Webb's office. "We checked online at the library," Jennifer had written. "The pictures match. Coach Webb is really this Fleming guy. We found articles about him taking money from other schools, too." Rather than immediately reporting their discovery, the girls had made a plan. They would wait until after the championship competition, then confront Webb with evidence they had gathered and demand he turn himself in. "We're going to make this right," read the final entry, dated October 15th, 1995. Tonight, after the celebration, the forensic evidence told the rest of the story. The brake lines hadn't been cut, as initially suspected. They had failed due to severe corrosion accelerated by the impact and years of exposure. But the toxicology reports revealed something equally significant: a high blood alcohol level in Fleming's remains. "Based on all available evidence, we've reconstructed what likely happened," Sheriff Ramirez announced. The girls confronted Fleming after the competition. He persuaded them to discuss the matter privately in his personal vehicle, not the school van. Perhaps he intended to explain or negotiate. The confrontation had evidently escalated. Fleming, already intoxicated and now panicked, had attempted to drive away with the girls still in the vehicle, possibly to buy time or reach the border. The combination proved fatal: a dangerous mountain road, severe weather conditions, impaired driving, and possibly a physical struggle inside the vehicle. The Explorer had missed a sharp curve, crashed through the guardrail, and plummeted into the ravine where it would remain hidden for 20 years. These young women showed remarkable courage, Dr. Foster reflected. They chose to stand up against wrongdoing, even when confronting an authority figure. Their decision ultimately cost them their lives, but their bravery deserves recognition. The question remained: what would have happened if they had chosen differently? If they had reported their discovery to parents or authorities instead of confronting Webb directly? Would different choices have led to different outcomes? On a clear autumn day, 20 years and 2 months after the disappearance, Ravencrest gathered to say goodbye. The memorial service at Pine Valley Park drew thousands: former classmates now middle-aged, teachers long retired, and current students who had grown up in the shadow of the town's defining tragedy. "Today, we close a chapter that has remained unfinished for too long," Mayor Wilson said, her voice carrying across the hushed crowd. "We honor 5 lives that ended too soon, and we acknowledge the truth that gives their families the answers they deserved." For the families, the discovery brought the gift of certainty. They could finally stop wondering, stop imagining countless scenarios, stop checking their phones hoping for impossible news. 6 months later, Ravencrest High School unveiled the Morrison Pazawin Athletic Center, named for the 3 coaches who had guided the school through its darkest period. The facility included a memorial wall displaying photographs of Jennifer, Melissa, Kimberly, and Ashley, not as victims, but as the vibrant athletes and students they had been. The case prompted nationwide changes in hiring practices for school personnel. The Ravencrest Protocol established stringent background check requirements for coaches and others working with students, closing the loopholes Fleming had exploited to move between districts despite his troubled history. For Ravencrest, the discovery brought an end to rumors and speculation. The town could finally move forward, carrying not just the memory of tragedy, but the legacy of 4 young women who chose to stand for truth, regardless of cost. The Ravencrest case offers profound lessons that extend far beyond its mountain community. Perhaps most striking is the danger of confronting potentially dangerous individuals without proper support or protection. The cheerleaders' decision to address Webb directly, while brave, ultimately placed them in a volatile situation with someone who had everything to lose. If there's one message we want students today to understand, Principal Hernandez explained during a school assembly, it's that bringing concerns to trusted adults or authorities isn't betrayal. It's protection for yourself and others. The case highlights critical failures in institutional safeguards. Fleming navigated between multiple school districts for years, assuming new identities while carrying forward his criminal behavior. Today's enhanced verification systems, digital fingerprinting, national database checks, and mandatory reference verification were implemented largely in response to tragedies like Ravencrest. Nature's power to conceal is another sobering reality. For 20 years, a crash site remained hidden less than 50 feet from a regularly traveled road. Dense vegetation, the ravine's depth, and the particular angle of the wreckage created a perfect blind spot that thousands of searchers missed despite extensive efforts. The case also reveals how easily communities can be drawn towards sensational explanations when simpler, more probable answers might exist. Theories about cult activity and elaborate kidnapping plots had flourished in the absence of evidence, when the truth was ultimately more straightforward, if no less tragic. Perhaps most compelling is the reminder that answers sometimes arrive in unexpected ways, not through high-tech investigation or massive search operations, but through chance, a dog's curiosity, a hiker's willingness to investigate, the persistence of nature's cycles gradually revealing what was once hidden. How many other mysteries remain concealed in our world? How many answers lie just beyond sight, waiting for the right moment or the right observer to bring them into the light? The truth, it seems, finds its way to the surface eventually, even if we must wait decades for its arrival. Thank you for joining me for this JPX story file. If you haven't already, subscribe now for more true crime stories that aren't just shocking, they're meaningful.